week for 100 Thieves, and it revealed something that was fundamentally broken with this team. This is a situation where they drafted 3 scaling lanes. They had 3 losing matchups. They got absolutely blasted out of the game by C9. They then dramatically overreact the next day, drafting all winning lanes, all priority, every single player basically playing for themselves. And I said to Jat immediately after seeing that draft that this is a team that has a coaching problem. Now, that's not to say that Koss was the problem, but it could be that there's 3 veterans here who have their own strong opinion on the game and they're not listening to him. I don't know. I wasn't there in the team to know what was going wrong, but these 2 drafts show that this team had no confidence in their own game plan, how they want to approach it, and they were just radically overreacting in day 2 to what went wrong in game 1. And to me, that said, there's something really wrong here, and it was no shock to me then to see in the middle of the week, Koss was let go, Nuke Duck was promoted to the assistant coach, to the head coach, and they are now trying to find their footing in a tight race for playoffs.
And it's crazy that this happened on stage, because I've actually been in situations where you're trying to figure out how to win during a scrim day, and you're like, oh, we lost our first 4 scrims. Let's pick all scaling in game 5 as a Hail Mary. And usually you get smashed, and it allows you to correct and deal with your real issues. This, for some reason, had to happen on stage, which did make matters worse. And what's interesting is, because we don't know behind the scenes, they panicked from one loss to the next loss. They could have also panicked by firing the head coach.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I had never heard anything from the team about Koss, so I have no idea if he's good or bad. I don't want that to sound like a shot at him, but this is something that should not happen. Your team should never react this strongly, because you should just have an idea of how to win games, and this speaks to the fact that they were probably losing left and right in scrims and just trying anything.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot, actually, of a lot of things. I know a bunch of TL players, Bwippo included, came out and said about oh yeah, we were so reactive. We'd have a really bad series of scrims, and then we'd be like, okay, we're going to draft this. And then that didn't work. So then we go back the next week and we try a completely different play style. And when that happens, I think you can lose a lot of footing within your team if you don't find a play style that synergizes well with your entire team.
Yeah, and I did a lot of research throughout the week on trying to figure out, what is actually going wrong with 100 Thieves, because they've won a lot of games at the start of the year, and then they've been on a large losing streak. So this is some kind of aggregated data. It's a little bit all over the place, but it goes to speak how it doesn't seem like there is a purposeful way of winning the game for these guys. So whether or not a player has a gold lead at 14 minutes usually shows if they have early game success or not. So this is kind of how it breaks out for this team. Doublelift has actually had a gold lead in 9. I'm really bad at drawing 9s.
You're good.
Of his 13 games, which has led to them getting first dragon in 8 of their 13 games. So it feels on paper that their bot side is working a little bit, but then when you go to their top side, Tenacity has had a gold lead in 4 of his games, which has only led to 3 first heralds, and that's of the 13 games they've been playing. But it's a little less simple than bot win, haha, top lose, haha, because they are counter-picking top lane more than any other team, but then he's getting the second lowest amount of jungle help. And that is what's leading to this big 3 of 13 in the Rift Herald. But that can also be for a number of reasons. 1 is if you don't have top prio, you can't take Rift Herald. But 2, if your bot lane doesn't like moving, you also can't get Rift Herald. And also, depending on where your mid laner is, it depends how many neutral objectives you can get. So I looked at Bjergsen's forward percentage, and there's been 13 different mid laners that have played. So these are rankings amongst the mid laners. At 14 minutes, Bjergsen is 9th. And at 8 minutes, in terms of the percentage of the game that he spends forward in his lane, he ranks 12th. So he's sitting back. Top lane is losing. They don't have objective control. Bot lane is fairly resource heavy, but they're counter-picking top lane, so Closer would be pulled in multiple places. Interestingly enough, the 3 games that Closer's had a gold lead at 13 minutes, they've won, but it's only happened in 3 of 13 games. So it's really just not been that successful of a year for them overall.
Yeah, I think, so I'm going to bring up Closer. I also am going to bring up just a general discussion on 100 Thieves playstyle, because we've talked a lot about the role of a jungler is so intrinsically tied to how the rest of your team is doing, right? So I'm just going to kind of play through this clip of a dive that 100 Thieves did last year against C9. Previously, 100 Thieves playstyle was constantly diving, right? And they tried to do this again last year. This actually pulls TP in from mid to cover it. And you notice this doesn't actually work out for 100 Thieves because Blabber is actually going to come up and clear this out. So he's going to be able to push this wave in here. And so it doesn't actually end up being, even though there is a trade down here, that it doesn't end up being a super, super positive play for 100 Thieves, but this was the kind of stuff that they were slamming, and Closer looked really unified with the team. In this same game, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit, and he actually comes up to cover top, ends up getting a kill off of this. The thing I wanted to illustrate from this isn't that like, oh my gosh, these were overwhelmingly good plays by 100 Thieves in a game that they won, but just that Closer really seemed to be so much more intrinsically communicative with his lanes, and they did have a defined play style. When the bot lane dives actually ended up not working out, they turned to a much more like slow scaling team. And then this, we're just gonna watch Closer's first path, but what I wanna bring up is the minimap, because this ties into something that Jat said, right? This is the losing lane draft, so it's tying in what Mark said and what Jat said. We have Closer here who's not gonna have any opportunities because this lane's gonna be pushed in, this lane's gonna be pushed in, this lane's gonna be pushed in, and this is super early in the game, by the way. And then what happens is that Blabber is able to come and invade here. So Closer even gets harassed out of his own jungle. He actually ends up going back down bot and looking for another play there. Doesn't see an opening down there either. And the thing I want to stress about—
wasted time.
Yeah, and the thing I want to stress about this isn't that like, oh my gosh, Closer sucks, right? That is not the point. But the role of a jungler on a team changes so much if you don't have A, that clear communication with your lanes, and also B, just openings, right? Because if he doesn't have openings, not only is he not getting early ganks off, which is so important in the current jungle meta specifically, and maybe this will change once we go to the next patch a little bit, and he's able to counter jungler or farming means a little bit more, but he's not able to even, he gets harassed out of his own jungle if the entire map is already pushing in on him that early.
Yeah, it's rough to watch their games because it feels like, to Jat's point, you have all these counter picks to Tenacity. We were talking about it off camera. He leads the league in solo kills right now, or at least he did at the start of the day.
Yeah.
So he has the skill, but it doesn't seem like he's getting the backup. Maybe he's a little green. Bot lane's getting these leads, maybe not moving around. Mid lane's not able to get to these side lanes. So it just seems like across the board, no one's getting what they actually want.
Yeah, I think in some instances when they were winning, it was Doublelift Busio getting what they want, and they were picking tanks for Tenacity, so it didn't matter that they were getting pushed in. But you could also see like their game against CLG, they died to the Kalista. Luger was like 4-0 on Kalista early. So it's not like they're winning bot lane every game. It's just what they've done the majority of the time. And the final thing would be, even if they're better next patch, like it might not matter.
Yeah.
They were in eighth place, right? Team Liquid won. They upset FlyQuest. TSM won against Immortals, so they're 2 wins ahead of 100 Thieves now. It's going to be like the most pressuring games of the split for 100 Thieves coming up.
I also think it's super interesting that you brought up the Herald percentage specifically, because if you remember in the very beginning, we were like, oh, okay, this is how this team's going to work. They're just going to slam bot. And like, that's okay if that's what you want to do, right? But we were even praising their Herald setups because we're like, okay, they're not going to rotate Doublelift up. They're going to feed him. They're going to make him this massive carry. But even in this game, you could see Closer wanted to go bot. He just didn't have a lot of openings. He actually kind of initially early checks it after to see if he can do 2 camp and then kind of go bot and just slam it then. And then he returns to bot to see if he can get a gank off. Isn't able to as well. So even that has kind of like started to come apart for them. And to your point, the CLG, that was a play they initiated that was so close. Yeah. And then it ended up going horrifically wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they're 1-7 in their last 8, with the 1 win being that Team Liquid game where they fell 5K behind, but then outscaled because Team Liquid had been a team that was struggling in team fights quite a bit. I heard we have their upcoming schedule, so we can take a look at like who 100 Thieves is going up against and who they'll have to kind of beat now, given that a number of teams have clawed above them. That's Golden Guardians. We'll see if we can get
which still counts. I mean, Golden Guardians is playing 100 Thieves. That's one of them.
They're playing them right now.
Yeah, but they're 8-5. Golden Guardians is realistically not the teams that 100 Thieves is trying to catch. Golden Guardians looking very good for playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I heard there's a slight delay on stage. Golden Guardians is 2 wins away from having their greatest split of all time for their franchise. But yeah, this is 100 Thieves. Where can they get the W's? The game today is incredibly important, and that could start a streak. Like if they could win this game, that Dignitas, TSM, and Immortals games towards the end, it's possible that they go on some type of streak.
Yeah.
So we're assuming this, right?
Yeah, we're saying
Probably.
Let's say they win 2. Jat saying if they can beat Golden Guardians here, get some momentum, they can maybe rip off 3 in a row by
That gets
taking
them to
Golden
8.
Guardians and TSM
Yeah.
on either side of Dignitas.
If they can beat Golden Guardians today and they beat Dignitas and Immortals, that would get them to 8. And then if they can stop TSM from getting a win, that would get them to 9, which would get them in the playoffs. They'd have to win 4 or 5, which is unlikely based on how they've been playing.
Yeah.
But it is also a kick in the ass to a team when the management decides to start firing people.
Well, yeah, this is the
True.
thing too. Without knowing if cost is the problem, it still can create honeymoon phases. We've seen, like, for example, on Dignitas,
Yeah.
even though there's a lot of problems beyond Spawn, once Tomo came in, you saw that
Yeah.
the team had a little bit more life in them. These kinds of things can happen. Balulu has brought some more life to Immortals, even if they haven't picked up all the wins. And I do hope for this team, because there are so many big names on it, that they do rally. It would be crazy if Doublelift Bjerg missed playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that just sounds wrong.
I have a funny coincidence between this game.
Tell us you're funny.
Oh no.
I mean, okay. The last time Doublelift was in the LCS, he won the LCS.
Mhm.
He was on TSM with Bjergsen,
Okay.
and he had epic playoff series against Closer, Huhi, and FBI, who were on Golden Guardians.
They then went to
They
100
then
Thieves.
went to 100 Thieves
Yeah.
to win LCS title, finished second place multiple times. Now Huhi is back on 100 Thieves again. He's
Golden
back on
Guardians.
Golden Guardians again, playing against Bjergsen and Doublelift again, who are now on.
Where's
100
the
Thieves.
board with
Yeah.
the yarn?
So,
and
so
the-
are you
Yeah.
saying
Pepe Sylvia.
who he is the blue shell?
I've
of
lost myself. in this
Bjergsen
analogy.
Doublelift?
Yeah, what was the takeaway there, Kat? What were you trying to say?
It's just weird.
I feel like you could try and do like one of those like unofficial World Championship belts.
Yeah.
There's a delay on stage if you're wondering why
Yeah.
we're going
No,
down.
this is really important.
We're engaging the rabbit holes.
This
We're
is
normally
really
going to go around them
The
because we have
LCS
time
iceberg.
to. Yeah. So I guess if you did like the unofficial championship belt, Doublelift won it. But,
Yeah.
But the last team to beat them in a series was Huhi in FBI.
Yeah, and then they lost.
Because then they went
person to
losers
beat-
bracket
Yeah.
run.
Mhm.
But
Doublelift
the last team to beat Doublelift.
Okay.
So that's why he's going to get revenge today on Huhi. I guess that's the takeaway you wanted.
I don't know what it is.
I tried to help you get there, man. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a nothing point. I apologize. But
Or
so-
who he is the blue shell that he needs to watch out
Yeah,
for.
one thing-
Although they're not in. Yeah, they're
You can't blue shell
the
8th
roles are
place from
swapped.
above.
Yeah,
You threw the blue shell
exactly.
backwards. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, if people haven't seen it, Stixxay and Licorice were on the dive talking a lot about their experience so far winning with Golden Guardians, but also some of the differences that happen when you're on a team that's winning versus when you're on a team that's losing, because Licorice went through a number of struggles after being on C9, losing a bunch of games on FlyQuest, losing a bunch of games on Golden Guardians, and Stixxay as well after having that first run at CLG in 2016 all the way until now. But they're feeling extremely confident right now is one thing that they're saying, and so much of winning or losing to them was like actually mental. They're like, I don't know like how much I've really improved. I've done a few things differently, but like just the expectation that you're going to be able to win. And if your teammates are doing well on stage next to you, you're going to just end up kind of playing better because you have more leftover confidence from the wins.
Well, the other thing they talk about is like how much less punished you get on a good team for making the same mistake.
Yeah.
Because if you int in lane one time and give up a solo kill on a top team, you're like, okay, we come back to lane and you're fine. But on a bottom team, it's like the game's just over because your bot lane's also losing and maybe your mid lane's losing or whatever's going on, or you just don't support each other the same way. It might not even be like an individual thing. And this is something that you see all the time on lower tier teams where the confidence just drains away. And League is a surprisingly confidence-based game. I feel like, everyone talks a lot about draft or itemization or even gameplay, but like so much of it is like headspace where you're confident in your picks. Like, is it really that much better of a pick than what the other team's doing? Maybe not, but like you just feel good about that champion and you can make it work.
Yeah, I want to turn attention to 100 Thieves again because I remember that when they did win that one game, Bjergsen did the stage interview, and I think it was you, Emily, that talked to him.
No, I think it was.
was Mark?
Your boy.
Yeah.
You asked him like what the mood was like on 100 Thieves, and he was like, intense.
Yeah.
Which is seemingly what they need, but at the same time, maybe they're just in like this stress vacuum and they're over pressing for success. I'm not sure.
I mean, to reiterate a few of the things that Stixxay and Licorice said as well, like if you keep losing and as we already covered in terms of drafting, it's not like they have a set identity from game to game to game. They're just trying anything to like get that win, because that win can just alleviate so much pressure. And everything was expected of this team, I think. Like the names on paper are, this is supposed to be the next iteration of veteran rookie combo, kind of bringing it up. And I think, yeah, like Bjergsen, I just remember he looked so relieved when he was talking to you, Mark. Like he was just like, oh, hopefully this is going to be kind of the start of, you know, digging ourselves out of the hole, and then it wasn't.
For what it's worth, they look relatively relaxed on stage. I saw them making the referee crack up behind them, who was listening on their comms. Nukeduck is the new head coach. We didn't touch on it that much, but if you're not a fan of LEC and don't know, you know, that's a relatively storied career Nukeduck has had. It's his first time coming across to North America. Didn't do it as a player. You know, hopefully he can help turn the ship around for this team. That'd be a very good little mark on his resume. We'll see if he can do that. We're finally ready to get into game. Head over to Decerux and Kobe.
Welcome, everyone, to the Casting Desk. My name is Decerux, joining once again from the North American Challengers League to see how some of our graduates are doing in LCS. I'm joined by Kobe. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. We are done with pauses forever, I promise.
Yes, please, please, no more.
Welcome back to the LCS. I'm excited to get into this one. I see them loading into the Champion Select screen, so shouldn't be too long now. We got time for some more fun facts then, because they're still getting into it. All right, they mentioned Nukeduck on stage, new coach. I ran into Busio backstage before this during the pause. I was like, oh, hey, you guys got rid of the coach, right? So that means you can lock in whatever you want. And he's locked in Azir support, and he just says, yes, I'm gonna lock something crazy in.
Yes.
So hopefully he delivers on that. Funny though, because I checked, and Busio is not actually the support with the most unique champion picks in the support role right now, even though he played Azir support and has played a bunch of different stuff. He's tied for second. Number one is who he's playing. Huhi in support, actually, across on Golden Guardians with 10 full different champions.
And they're both role swaps to support, you know, kind of bring that champion pool alongside with you.
Exactly.
You know what I want to see? I want to see Yasuo support Busio. That's one of his specialties that we've seen so many times over in Academy, now the NACL. That'd be a lot of fun to see. He's put off some banger games with it. But as I said, that's one of our graduates that I'm here to watch. Tenacity is another one.
In fact, wasn't it your most promising graduate?
Yes, he was our MVP. Our most valuable prospect is what we called Busio. And hey, Doublelift hand-picked him, so I think that really adds to that reward right there.
Yeah. Hopefully 100 Thieves can pull it together. That's good. I like to see that. He's laughing right now. We can get our little insights into the morale at 100 Thieves. Right now, it looks great. Yeah. On stage, hopefully we can get right into this one. The support matchup, though, basically what we're promising is the wildest of things that you have seen. I would say that huhi actually has been one of the best AD carry support players. Sven, of course, you know, is going to be up there, debatable for number one. But huhi's Caitlyn game was amazing, and he has adapted really well to being super flexible in this support meta that is being led by Carria, basically, and everyone's trying to follow along in his wild footsteps as they whittle on down. But honestly, I'm just curious to see what this 100 Thieves roster is going to do with a coaching change like this. Getting rid of the head coach when your team that has a bunch of stars on it is failing. You know, it's something that's very common in regular sports. And we'll see if it transfers here.
I'm very curious about that as well, because we've had some talks about Nukeduck over in the NACL and what he provides for that roster. And a lot of it is just getting the scrims going for the mid lane, and not get the scrims going, excuse me, the 1v1s to actually practice a lot of these mid lane matchups. That's what he was doing before the call-up right here. So it's going to be a different take being on the LCS stage to see what he can bring and try and dial in for 100 Thieves. You know, watching a lot of their games that have been going off, you know, sometimes I'll look over at, you know, those comm videos that they release, and seeing how they communicate as a team, sometimes it feels a little bit like there's too much going on, like we don't have the clearest of communications for the Thieves.
Is it possible to have too much communication
Too many cooks?
and not enough at the same time? Because honestly, that's what it looks like at some points in these 100 Thieves games. I like your point about Nukeduck playing mid 1v1s though with them, because watching Champions Queue, where a lot of these players are getting some of their best practice, there are 2 coaches that actually play a ton of games in Champions Queue. Nukeduck is one of them, Marn is the other one, and they are really players coaches.
Yeah.
You know, they're still so close to their careers as players. They want to keep their skills sharp, and they do that actually getting down there with them and practicing. So we'll see if that hands-on approach will pay dividends. They're still laughing.
Still figuring this out, still putting me through misery. Do you know how much torment it is to not be a regular on this broadcast, come in, and then just be in the longest delay possible, Kobe?
Well, you're getting the most out of your time, right? You get one day, so we got to get as many minutes packed in there as possible. Delay it on stage. Oh, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, they're all loaded in now, so we should
All
be
right,
good.
all
The
right.
lights are very hot, though. I can tell because I can see some beads of sweat popping up.
I naturally sweat a lot, Kobe. Don't you worry. We got a
Same.
fan on over there, so that's going to cool me off. And as we go on, getting some gameplay will help cool me off as well.
Yes,
In the
that
zone.
noise.
I hear the music. It is time for Champion Select Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves.
All right, let's get into it. 100 Thieves. If we're looking down their draft previously, and this should definitely change. Big coaching staff change. I would think bringing up Nukeduck, you're going to get even more player-controlled drafts immediately. But one thing they have gone back to so heavily is that Zeri for Doublelift, the Zeri Lulu over and over. They failed with it, obviously, last weekend when they went with the 3 lanes of scaling, losing lanes. See if Golden Guardians still feel it is necessary to avoid that, or if they're just going to leave it open here. Annie and Ashe already off the pool, 2 of the best supports, as well as flex pick there for Annie, transferring to mid lane, which Bjergsen tried to play as well. So good ban so far.
A little bit on the fan side, I'm very curious as to what the lock-in is going to be for that support role. I've been seeing a lot of interviews that come out from huhi, and he says he has some champions in the chamber that are a bit on the spicier picks. Even mentioned that if everything were to align, if the stars were to align, Aurelion Sol would be one he would consider for that support role, even in its current iteration.
Yeah, he's trolling you.
No, I want to believe it, man.
Yeah,
We get a whole draft focused onto the bot lane.
as the single best scaling champion in the entire game right now, I think relegating Aurelion Sol to support is a crime that we will not see on this stage. They also decided, you know what? He's been talking about it too much. We'll ban it ourselves. Getting right into it, though, your hopes of the Busio Yasuo are alive because picking up Gragas is a great component if 100 Thieves want to give him that power to actually pick up and really change up their game plan. Golden Guardian, so there's that Zeri we were talking about. They steal it away from Doublelift instead of having to invest bans into it.
That Gragas lock-in, Yasuo would be so juicy if I could ever get it, but it's just not gonna happen. It's not a fanboy day for me, it's all right. 100 Thieves gonna lock in the lovers duo. Let's look at the Xayah and the Rakan for the bottom lane.
All right, so Golden Guardians then want to lock in something here for River or for Licorice. What's it gonna be? River has a pretty wide champion pool, honestly, even though people in his first couple of splits in the LCS really focused on the Jarvan. He's been able to perform in the early game, especially on a wide variety nowadays, and has earned that confidence. Meanwhile, the Renekton locked in. They were talking about our dive episode earlier where we just had Licorice as well as Stixxay on, and he was talking about Renekton being one of his favorite champions, also being one that has been high tier in the meta for a very long time. Insta-locks it. He's so comfortable on this champion, his most comfortable champion. And you love to see that in a very critical game.
And it works so well because River's already drafted the Sejuani. So, melee champions alongside the Sejuani, if you start ganking up there, you get a lot of lockdown. Ruthless Predator provides a stun. The Permafrost will provide a stun if that is the point of attack for Golden Guardians. Second part of the draft coming in now, Sion, Vi, and Lulu all banned away.
All right. Look at maybe a melee mid laner ban. There's the Silas from Gori banned away. Like you say, whenever you have Sejuani looking for more melees to be able to stack up. What's it going to be here? Wide open.
See a little bit of suspense right now as that clock ticks down.
The shout out.
The shout out towards the other side. Bjergsen, you know, very, very comfortable on that Zillion. Not going to be the lock-in for Golden Guardians. Just giving them a wave as they'll take the Soraka.
All right, huhi special. Soraka comes back out for the Golden Guardians. They've got a beefy front line. They've got Zeri to be able to carry later on to chase them down. And Busio promised us a really spicy pick, so they're going to rotate the Rakan to somebody else, and then he's going to pick Ivern. So
yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly. That's what's going to go on, you know.
Mid Rakan.
Hey, Rakan's got crowd control. Put him in the jungle. Put him in the jungle. Get rid of him out of support role. I want something spicy. It's probably not going to happen. Bjergsen, this time, going to go on to the Azir. So looking at a lot of this setup that's coming in, that's layers and layers of protection coming out from the Thieves that can be used either way. If they want to find an engage on top of that, they can play towards that.
All right, and we finally figure out, is this Gragas going to be played into the Renekton on top side? It looks like it will be. And Closer gets his Lee Sin. Now, a lot of people have been looking forward to the moment where Closer finally starts to pick his champion. You know, they feel like he's been locked in the tank prison of the meta for the last few patches. But they actually locked it in last game, last weekend, and did not really get a lot accomplished with it. I'm still one that has a lot of faith in Closer, and especially Closer, Lee Sin, his Viego. So hopefully this game he can set up some plays with Busio and with Tenacity. Gragas and Rakan are both very, very good playmakers to assist Lee Sin in some of these early moves. So let's see if 100 Thieves can start their run towards playoffs now. The playoffs hopes are alive for this team. They've been beaten down. There's a ton of pressure. They've made coaching changes mid-split, completely getting rid of their head coach, promoting up Nukeduck, who you see on screen, and trying to make a really big push here in the last 2 weeks of the LCS.
You know, they kept saying it during the pre-show, Doublelift in the clutch. Well, there's no bigger time to clutch than right now to make it into playoffs. And a tough team to go against in Golden Guardians with what they drafted right now. You know, we talked over towards that top side as well as the jungle, but Gori and River have pretty good synergy together. Sejuani and Yone together provide a lot of spicy team fight. Gori has been fantastic on that Yone in the past to win out on some very clutch engages for the Golden Guardians. So I do like the presence that Golden Guardians are able to bring onto the map.
All right, long have we awaited. The game will finally start.
No more! All right, on to the Rift now for 100 Thieves versus Golden Guardians. It'll be a 5-way spread coming out for the Guardians. Still about on that precipice of being pretty secure for playoffs altogether. 100 Thieves far off.
Yeah, Golden Guardians do feel pretty secure. They've got quite a few games left, and sitting at 8, if they get 9, then they'll be very, very, very comfortable. Right now, a little bit of a possibility of a delayed invade counter.
Don't say delay, please don't say delay. That word does not work with me right now, Kobe.
All right, no synonyms for pause or delay will be used from here on out. Sweeping through to see if they can get control of the bottom side brush.
Nothing too fancy on that start off for this.
But the walk back towards mid gets a little bit of an early chunk here. Interesting double sweeper start too. Sejuani also here has sweeper for River. Curious where he's going to go. Level 3 Sejuani. Definitely one of the big playmakers here. Renekton topside would be obvious. He's got Red Raptors, Krugs as a possible clear to go over there with his sweeper. Or look towards that bottom side.
Be curious to see where he goes. I would like that gank over towards the red side. You know, we were talking about it in the champion select of how much you can layer in that CC and how well Sejuani works with those melee champions. Might not be the case with the red buff start unless he goes for the level 2 gank right away. But this is the thing, you still have to be very careful because you don't know where Closer's going to be. You don't know what he's going to bring onto the map. Lee Sin is a very active champion. And of course, that congratulations, that shout out to Doublelift. 500th LCS game, 6th most of all time.
One of the GOATs. 100 Thieves picking up both GOATs in the offseason with him and Bjergsen.
Zoo.
See what they can get done. Looks like it's just going to be normal full clears for both junglers. Starting top side, heading down towards bottom side. Oh, river though. Bjergsen does have a ward on this bottom side river. So if he looks to slide in through this front, it is false sense of security for Bjergsen with that ward in the pixel brush.
Yeah, and he's very overextended right now.
Arctic Assault, long cooldown early on. He's waiting it a few more seconds probably. It's an 18-second cooldown level 1, so he's got to be patient.
You got to be snappy with this. It is going to burn out the flash of Bjergsen, but not going to find much else. Still summoner burnt, so successful gank coming out from River in the mid.
Yeah, jungle trading flash for mid lane flash here. When you're in a kill pressure matchup versus the Yone, still is profitable even if you're not able to get it there. So the patience pays off for River in the exchange, but it does mean you spent that extra 18 seconds of a level 1 Arctic Assault in the brush. That gives Closer full clear time. So Lee Sin, pretty healthy lead over River right now, and he wants to come even those gank times.
Yeah, the visit from River earlier. Now Closer going to show up in the mid lane, going after Gori, able to land the Sonic Wave, resonating strike in first blood for 100 Thieves Closer.
Beautiful stuff from Closer. The problem after that gank from Golden Guardians, their wave was slowly pushing towards Bjergsen, and Gori, as soon as he uses the E, gets immediately jumped on by Closer. Bottom side.
Stixxay pushing forward onto Busio. Flash going to be burnt out of Busio, and Stixxay and huhi, they've been incredibly aggressive over in this bottom lane as they start to push out Doublelift and Busio.
Yeah, that Soraka harass. Very powerful early on. huhi just using his heal, and Closer's on a rampage.
Man. He's all over the place. Licorice gonna take a bite out of that one, waiting for the Sonic Wave. You want that execution damage, and he is gonna find it. Closer gets 2.
This auto already triggered there as Licorice flashes away, so Licorice still dies, flashing under turret. Closer's back, baby! This is why I still have faith in Closer's Lee Sin. He is back. This is why he won Finals MVP on this champion. Ganks towards mid after the full clear. He waits for the Unbound Soul. Boom, you see it, immediately goes in. Ward hops to make sure he can get the slow, immediately flashes, point blank. You are not dodging that Q. And then very same thing here versus Licorice. He's gonna go in first, get the slow down after the slice and dice. Then he's got the Q already attached. Gives it the extra range there, and auto enough to finish it. You can see the idea from Licorice.
Yeah.
He was hoping to flash just after the Q damage and hope that he's not low enough that it actually goes down there, but ends up losing his summoner as well. So now, I would say repeat towards that Renekton. He's got no flash, and you have a Gragas setup with flash. That is guaranteed engage whenever you want it. So if they can figure out their way around some wards, they could easily be able to get that one, continue to snowball. Bottom side camps are up though, and Dragon needs some, at least vision.
This is Lee Sin going rather early. I want to put it out there that Closer has had a rough season, and there has been some criticism going his way. Doublelift has been more on the vocal side to say that, like, these are team decisions we're making, you know, Closer's doing these on our whim, on our will, and we're failing as a team. Sometimes it does make Closer look bad, but still showing that, you know, he has those chops. 2-0 so far to start this game, 6 minutes.
Yep, and you know he's got confidence on this champion, especially when you get early kills as Lee Sin, getting a really, really early Iron Spike whip. Instantly clears these AoE camps, and he's back into gank mode.
Watching this bottom lane, Stixxay is by himself, but huhi will soon follow River in the river, not realizing that Closer's not too far off from right here.
He soaks up level 6. If Sejuani goes for this could be very bad for them.
Still clearing out the Scuttle Crab, and River will show off of that. Did get spotted out in engagement earlier, spotted out on the control ward as he moves through. We'll give information to River on where this pathing is coming out from Closer.
Uses the Blast Cone to juke some Scuttle Crab, only to find that there is a control ward inside. So no sneaky dragon picked up 400 Thieves. Bottom side has had some good pressure though.
Explosive cast going out onto Licorice. Licorice returning that damage. Nice thing about the Renekton is
mid lane?
decent sustain, but here we go. Fi coming out in the mid. Huhi's there to put down the silence, which means Closer can go nowhere but the respawn.
Yeah, Gori gets some revenge there. Unfortunate that the killing blow actually goes to huhi himself. So is rewarded for the support roam up there.
Bananas get deadly, man.
But also taking the gold.
Interesting trade coming out here. Interesting matchup on top of that. Stixxay versus Doublelift. A little bit of history in that regard. Here comes the Emperor's Divide from Bjergsen. Soul Unbound returns Gori right back to safety.
Yeah, and he's going to have to go right back to base after that one. Significant chunk. Yeah, the Stixxay versus Doublelift, one of the oldest origins of replacement in the LCS when Doublelift first left CLG and Stixxay came in, immediately winning a championship. But here's a look at it. River hit him with the ultimate over the wall. No chance to move at all. Fully CC'd into the Soraka silence from 100% to 0. It's a dangerous job clearing those control wards around mid.
Very much. Especially when you got the wee Soraka running around the place. People don't realize just how strong that silence really is. You put it down at the right time. Doublelift's not using his ultimate. Bjergsen's not using his ultimate. Huhi can time that well. It does a lot of work for the Guardians.
Yeah, as long as you have your primary engaged somewhere else and you can just use that as a follow-up, it can be extremely effective. Gori here with a lot of attention. That mid lane has had so much attention early on in this game from both teams. And Bjergsen is winning out in the CS from all those exchanges, though all of the kind of casualties have been on the other side. River just goes instantly to start up this dragon, and he should be able to get it, seeing as how Closer is on Gromp and bottom lane is just recalled. So nice timing window here taken advantage of by the Golden Guardians. River will slip right in, and his ult will be up after the dragon too, so they can look for another play.
It's pretty nice right now. They got priority over in that bottom lane, which means they can shift out their bottom lane to secure this dragon. They'll grab the first Drake of the game. Goes over to the Golden Guardians. Busio going to show up a little bit too late off of that recall and that reset. See what Closer has in mind as he's eyeballing the mid lane.
Yeah, and huhi just topping off the jungler, topping off Gori as he comes over to get a heal over the wall too. Really trying to spread that love from the bottom lane as some further attention focused on him and still being able to scrap together most of the CS. Pretty nice start, honestly. 1,000 gold lead there, 400 Thieves. River trying to defend some of the vision in his jungle. And the sweet bird, there we go.
Pressure coming out, resets for River. Will be returning to the spawn, see what he's going to be able to purchase. Won't be able to finish up his first item just yet. Checking out Closer, who's been accelerated in this game thus far. Got those 2 early kills, has yet to find next kill onto the map, but still giving the Thieves a pretty strong gold lead for the early stages.
Yeah, we'll see where he drops this Rift Herald as well. I would prefer to give it in mid lane to Bjergsen, but some teams opt to give it to their bottom lanes, with the state of bottom lane right now being incredibly powerful for the AD carry to truly funnel. If you can get that Xayah to the Quick Blades ASAP, any extra money funding that build is going to be very powerful, but Bjergsen's definitely done well with all of the pressure around mid lane thus far, and would like to see another revisit. Pressure Gori, then drop Rift Herald, chunk down mid, because if you can then get Rift Herald number 2, that fully takes out the defenses of that mid turret, and you can set yourself up for a much easier mid game.
And the Thieves so far have been generating a gold lead even without this game going as fast as it is. But here we go. Huhi caught out. Emperor's Divide. Huhi, you roamed out at the wrong time, and Closer's going to cash in.
Landing the Sonic Wave. Beautiful double kill by Closer.
Well, there's your mid pressure. That is an easy move now for 100 Thieves. Push out this wave, drop that Rift Herald, annihilate the mid turret. Closer's able to chase down huhi. Bjergsen slides in for an easy Azir ultimate. They don't drop the Rift Herald. With only Sejuani being there, they want to keep up the tempo and make the play towards bottom instead. Yeah. So they'd rather get first turret bonus here for Doublelift and really funnel this Xayah.
We're putting pressure down here. River has shown up. 3 versus 3. Doublelift is a little bit too low. We'll use the Feather Storm. Huhi's got to be careful in that position. Blade Color can come right out, but already first turret going to go down. Closer, thanks to the Rift Herald, might give his life for it, though. And that's exactly the case, because Stixxay is running them down with that pea shooter. Bop, 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 and drop in. The Thieves Golden Guardians get a double in the bot.
The tragedy of wanting to funnel AD carry instead of dropping Rift Herald towards mid. They wanted to get the first turret bonus, but if you're not around the turret when the Rift Herald kills it, you don't get the local gold there. Rift Herald turret plates all also went to Closer, so they didn't even get to share them onto Doublelift with him being chased back and then also dying. That was such a pivotal moment for 100 Thieves where they made this beautiful two-person pick, getting Gori down, getting huhi down towards mid lane, and they just greeted for too much, trying to stretch it into the bottom lane, opening up a pretty big counterplay there from the Golden Guardians. 100 Thieves, though, they're still going to have a very substantial lead off it. It just could have been better. Closer, though, my goodness. This has been an absolute clinic on his Lee Sin. Then they come down. They want to get the first turret bonus here for Doublelift. And look at this. Stixxay says, you want this? He clears out the minions. It's a turret shot, plus chasing Doublelift down to 100 HP. And with River stunning up Closer, they just turn their sights right towards him as well. Nice little flash from him to follow. And it's shut down for Stixxay. That is very scary. Plus the follow-up kill here. This is one thing you really don't want to see as the 100 Thieves team, is that Zeri getting so much money.
Yep. I mean, for all it's worth, Closer still has a lot of income, and it's not at a time where Lee Sin has fallen off yet. He can still have a lot of impact onto this map, and that's exactly what Closer's looking for, as he tries to set up on a Gori, but Gori gonna read that Sonic Wave.
And since they didn't, it was just in some recall timers for huhi and River. That's why they didn't want to overchase there. A couple more seconds before huhi and River just showed on mid. They were still walking back in the fog of war from base. And so they did not want to overchase. And now it's going to go the other way here with the 3-person invade.
Closer catches it with the Sonic Wave. Lands it onto huhi, so now has some vision of the Guardians, even for just a brief second. Knows that's not the Lee syndrome you want to take. The Guardians now starting up this Rift Herald. Thieves in the mid lane do have priority as they start to collapse in.
Here comes the teleport. It's really deep towards red buff, though.
Licorice right behind the pit. Ultimate gonna go wide for River, but the fight still come now. Gori looking to land the big ultimate right here, but goes wide, so the Thieves can clean up the Guardians. Or is it gonna be enough? There it is, the knock up from the body slam of Tenacity, bouncing off the belly and sending the Golden Guardians right home.
The Golden Guardians may have gotten Dragon number 2, but 100 Thieves take 4 of them for it. This is going to be extremely worth for 100 Thieves. Bjergsen can push in on mid lane. I don't even know. That thing's gonna melt, and look at top lane. Tenacity teleports right back out too, so 100 Thieves will get to shove all 3 lanes after winning the team fight here towards Dragon. On reset, Closer can go over, pick up that Rift Herald, and snowball this gold lead. 2 dragons for Golden Guardians, but massive gold lead for 100 Thieves. And look at this, Licorice is still so far away from the fight, so 100 Thieves, good engage here from Busio. They waste no time. Closer gets the double kick. Kicks Stixxay right through the Sejuani. He dies after flashing as well. Massive, massive Lee Sin game from Closer this time around. On top of it, with that ultimate missing there from Gori and the late flank around from Licorice, Golden Guardians timing just a couple seconds off there. That being comboed with 100 Thieves, no hesitation from either Busio or Closer. Looks like a giant snowball here. The only thing now 100 Thieves really have to pay attention to is Dragon number 3. The good thing, you're really rich to be able to fight that Dragon number 3, so they should have that defense in the bag.
Yeah, they're rolling in dough right now. That was one of the things I brought up. Closer, Lee Sin, doesn't fall off, takes a little bit of time, and you see exactly what it can do when it gets going around these early stages, around these mid stages. I do appreciate Tenacity, who bought a lot of space for the carries of 100 Thieves to win out in that last fight, but now it's a 5.4 gold lead coming out for 100 Thieves. 16 minutes into this game is so accelerated, Cody.
Surely is, and all in part due to Closer here. Let's see, reset, all towers defensible here for 100 Thieves. A big movement from Golden Guardians towards top though. I don't know how much time Tenacity can buy. He clears out the minion wave. He does have flash and ult available, but they have no idea.
Oh, spots it out now with the sweeper, but already caught out by the ultimate of River. 4-man dive finds a shutdown for the Guardians.
Yeah, that's a pretty juicy shutdown here for Golden Guardians, considering how far they were behind. The best in a bad scenario that they could actually get. Gori, though.
Oh, Gori, beautiful with that buffer. Will be able to escape the grasp of Busio. 100 Thieves still putting pressure, though, as they rotate between mid and bottom. Shelly crashing into that bot lane tier 2.
Yeah, let's see. Finish it off here with the power of Bjergsen on Azir. And that was going to be enough. They're going to just trade that for the topside tower here for Stixxay. Golden Guardians, again, they're working with such a deficit that they have to take these types of plays. And it feels pretty good for Stixxay to be able to get solo tower gold up there on the top side in exchange. Even though secondary towers are worth 800 gold on the side and outer towers are only worth 500 gold, you're the losing team. You know, you have to take those trades.
Yeah.
And especially for you to be able to funnel that money into the Zeri is definitely the steps here that Golden Guardians need to take to be able to come back in this game.
Yeah, I am curious to see what the gold of Stixxay is at the moment, because Stixxay did get those kills, those 2 earlier in the bot lane. One of them was a shutdown, did get funneled a lot of gold from that tower going down earlier. So it seems like Golden Guardians are playing pretty heavily towards Stixxay to be that late win condition to come online and start to pop off, and definitely going to need it right there, but allocating the resources in the right spot.
All right, objective bounties are on as well to the 5.4 thousand gold lead that 100 Thieves have. So Golden Guardians, honestly, I would probably trade the pressure that 100 Thieves are going to send towards that dragon, because 100 Thieves do not want to let you continue stacking them, and try and make a hard push towards topside and get an objective bounty. Even, a secondary turret objective bounty would be worth a ton. But looks like they feel a little bit too scared to overextend for that. And 100 Thieves are doing a good job of covering. This is a good duo here from Busio and Closer. What they're doing right now is trying to deny that weak side play. Them both covering over here for the swap from Golden Guardians to make sure, hey, we're not going to let you set up your vision to be able to pull off any extra trade like that. You don't want to let this comeback team get any sort of objective bounty shutdown.
I will say, what a bump from the Thieves, though, to have this 5K lead against the Guardians. A team that got, their first 4 losses on the first 4 games, then only picked up 1 loss after that, after all 8 of their wins. It's showing that things are coming together for this roster as they do get control of the river. It's still a very, very long shot, Kobe, that they do make it into playoffs, but I do like these signs of life that we're getting.
Yeah, for sure. Hope is alive. They're making the changes that they feel are necessary. And honestly, biggest change to me is Closer for this game. So can they keep it up? 20 minutes here, Baron's on the map. Golden Guardians know that they have to keep some vision around it at the very least, because Bjergsen is Azir with 2 items, and that will melt a Baron. So you have to be very, very, very nice ultimate. Good reaction from Doublelift.
Featherstorm, perfect time, is able to get the root onto River. A lot of damage onto River as Doublelift continues chasing and peppering onto the boar.
That'll teach you. Try and ult for ult trade me. Takes
You know who I am?
70% of his HP. Nice to see the reaction speed to be able to ult the Sejuani ult, and there's the control ward going down. So with that play, Golden Guardians not only lose out on a big chunk of HP, but they lose out on the critical thing they had just set up, the vision on Baron.
That Baron already started up. Golden Guardians are aware of it. Closer just hops right over the wall to challenge the Guardians as they try and meet him over there. But they have control of this side of the jungle, looking to push it a little bit further into Golden Guardians territory. Guardians spread a little bit thin right now. Closer's leading the charge. Can be such a threat. You got to watch out for that Dragon's Rage, especially if your name's Stixxay, because Closer will be looking for you.
Certainly will, and he has found him. He found him at that last dragon fight. This is the reason 100 Thieves are able to crush the dragon fight so hard. The Closer kick onto Stixxay Zeri. Fully set up on vision again. Control wards in place. Tenacity screening here. All he has to do is keep River out. 6,000 HP.
Gori's right there. Soul Unbound has to back off.
Nice ult.
Ooh, Fate's still available, but River can't get over the wall. Busio will deny it. And like that, 100 Thieves make out with a high skill grab the Baron.
Beautiful stuff here. 100 Thieves, they make the call. Tenacity, keep River out at all costs. You are the bodyguard, you are the bouncer. He's able to ult him back, and then Busio makes the around the world Rakan ultimate, goes full circle through the through the red side jungle here, keeping River pinned as well as trapping up the rest of the Golden Guardians members and allowing 100 Thieves to easily take that without any casualties, but huhi's already dead.
Ooh, huhi, there's not enough fruits to mend the wounds that Bjergsen will put into you. Another kill picked up by 100 Thieves at a time where they're going for Baron-empowered pushes. Seems no mercy. Thieves continue forward.
Golden Guardians trying to get something back mid, but Doublelift is here and Busio's flanking. Meanwhile, another fight on bottom.
Yeah, teleport coming out from Gori, wants to help out with the situation that Licorice is in. Stixxay with the pinch. Don't want to pinch onto Tenacity. You got to be careful right there. That explosive cast could send you in the wrong direction. Stixxay going to pay his respects as he passes by Tenacity.
Yeah, plus during this whole time, there's an extra member on the map. Bjergsen pushing towards top side with that Baron is going to immediately melt this turret. 100 Thieves will be able to collect the last of the secondary turrets for themselves.
Look at the gold just ballooning right now. AK at 23 minutes. This is very calculated play coming from the Thieves. You can tell they set up a game plan and they're playing to it, but here comes the plan from the Guardians. A teleport on the flank. Ruthless Predator goes out, but it doesn't get onto Doublelift. Licorice runs low, Gori runs in, but that's the wrong direction, friend.
Closer will take him down.
Oh man, Golden Guardians are so out of sorts. They've been demolished here. That was not timing the Licorice flank with, oh, Bjergsen!
Oh, Bjergsen! With the Emperor's Divide to divide the hopes
Of the Guardians, another double kill picked up by Closer, and they're looking to just end this out, Kobe.
Yeah, 100 Thieves are all business, and they are done with this game.
Ooh, what a display from the Thieves. They got a new coach in, Nukeduck doing some work, and it is paying dividends. 10K lead, 24-minute game.
100 Thieves will take it.
Holy! This is a completely different looking 100 Thieves. Demolishing Golden Guardians, and let me remind you, Closer picks Lee Sin last weekend, and it was 0-4. So they changed the magic sauce. Well, we can chalk that one up to great coaching. Hey, just smurf on them this game. Go ahead, gank mid, gank top. Take everything. 100 Thieves know they have to put in a ton of work to be able to make playoffs. Only top 6 teams now make playoffs in the LCS, and they're not wasting any time. They're getting right down to business. They dispatch the Golden Guardians so quickly here. And these are two organizations that had completely opposite stories this year in the LCS. 100 Thieves, a huge downfall after being super hyped up. Golden Guardians, a huge ascent up to the top of the LCS after being looked down upon. But this game felt like a crash back to reality.
I mean, for the Guardians, you know, a lot of things they were looking to work on was after picking bans, what is our win condition? What are we looking to do? What is our identity with the draft? And it seems they really couldn't figure it out in this one. Just 100 Thieves were going too fast for the Guardians to write it down on the paper and turn in the test. And a lot of that, as you said, coming right off of Closer. The ganks he was able to do in the mid lane and the top lane just kept it running, Kobe.
The only mistake that 100 Thieves made was not dropping the Rift-Tailed mid and trying to greed a little bit for bottom turret to get the first turret bonus, giving up a couple kills. And even that one, they still got the turret, and then they got right back out and made another pick towards mid. So, yeah, that was a massive, massive game for 100 Thieves. Look at these standings. That moves them right up into tied for 7th with Team Liquid. Only one game out.
I think they're still tied with Team Liquid because we came into this with that tie over on this side. So, I mean, it's a long climb for 100 Thieves, but this is the start of it right now. It's a new boost of momentum. They just got to keep it running, though, Cody.
Got to keep it running. Closer, keep that. Whatever he's doing, whatever he did today, repeat.
More Lee Sin.
Whatever he did to wake up today, from the moment he opened his eyes, repeat exactly that tomorrow, and I will be happy. Lee Sin, yes. Viego's also acceptable.
Yes.
That's about it.
All right, fine. We got more carry jungles, we got Kindred, Graves, and all that. Well, before we go, a reminder that Fantasy LCS is happening over on Sleeper. Make sure you lock in your picks and bans for next week's games if you want to top your league. However, we're joining Emily and Closer for our Verizon post-game interview.
Hello, that's right. After that early game, it could pretty much only be you. So first of all, congratulations. Second of all, I think everyone, ourselves included, as analysts, have been kind of rough on your early game and jungle to lane communication. So talk to me about what went right today.
I think, like, even though results are bad, I think if you ask me, like, the first 4 weeks of LCS, our standings were good. Like, our record was good. But if you would ask me, I wouldn't say, like, we were a good team. Right now, we went 0-2 last week, but like for the last 2 weeks, I think we improved a lot in our early game and our communication. I would say we are a good team again, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, like we played the top teams and did well in scrims. I was like kind of worried if it wouldn't transfer to stage, but Golden Guardians is a strong team and we played good today, so I'm happy with the win.
Yeah, I was really impressed with your early pathing, especially how many lanes you were able to visit early on, which is something that I think the early game is kind of lacking. So as you said, you think you guys have actually improved a lot over the past 2 weeks. What kind of team do you think you are? Like, what do you think is your greatest strength and play style?
I don't think we found our, like, I don't think you can say like 100 Thieves plays this way right now, but like we played scaling, now we are playing more like an early game. So I don't know. I wouldn't say like we still know what to play, but we are a lot better than our previous game knowledge, I would say.
All right. So what changed, I guess, in the past 2 weeks? Just stronger communication or better scrims or better reviews? What happened?
Better scrims for sure. I think we realized our weaknesses and just started focusing on them heavily. I would say last week, actually, like I was expecting pretty good results, but like the 2 early game went boom, and then like both 20-minute games, like that was very embarrassing. So I'm happy we started this week with a win, and hopefully it will continue like this.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to catch up with me. Congrats. I thought your early game was awesome. It was great to see you back in form. And on the other side of the break, CLG and Dig are next. But first, Mark and Jat had the chance to catch up with Tenacity. So don't go away. Check that out.
Do you describe yourself as a boy or e-boy?
No, not at all. I think I give golden retriever energy. I just lied my ass off. So my name's Tenacity. I'm the new top laner for 100 Thieves, and today I brought you my 10 essentials. I like to get some carbs, some proteins, just something to eat before the gym. And this is a killer right here. This is the most delicious ever tasted. They actually just put crack in this. I really don't understand. In the gym, I think I'm pretty antisocial. I don't really like talking to people, so this is an essential for me. The JBL AirPods. For supplements, I usually take omega-3, vitamin D, and multivitamins. But this bad boy right here, creatine, is probably my favorite supplement. I think that the growth in physical performance has been crazy with it. So yeah, this is one of my essentials. So a common theme in the gaming world is gamers have really bad BO, which I do agree with. So I kind of want to break that standard, and these are actually 2 of my favorite colognes right now. Baclat Rouge 550, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this, but these 2 are like my go-to recently. I'll use like shampoo and conditioner, and I'll either air dry it or blow dry it. But after the fact, I like to use this shaping cream right here. And then, you know, a brush never hurts. I think Solo probably has the best hair in the LCS, alongside like Licorice as well. I think gamers should take notes from them. So for accessories, you know, I've sat next to a screen like my entire life, so you know, I'm kind of blind as shit. So I got some glasses right here. My lovely glasses. I don't really wear them. I usually wear contact lenses, but I'm almost out. Kind of rationing right now, so. So yeah, I'm a bit of a LV fan, so this is usually the bag I bring to the gym, as well as my wallet. probably like one of my favorite bags right now. Yeah, so I bought these two in Korea with like my teammates, so definitely special to me, my old teammates. I'm Tenacity, these are my essentials, and thank you guys for watching. Support 100 Thieves, support my teammates. Thank you, Nate Shots, and follow me on Twitter.
We have to tell everyone that we just switched to Verizon's new Welcome Unlimited plan for just $30.
I've already told everyone.
Wait, did you say Verizon for just $30?
It's their best unlimited price ever.
$30? That's awesome. Yeah, and it's from the most reliable 5G network in America.
For $30 a line, I'm switching now.
Yeah, it's easy. And you get $960 when you switch the whole family.
Wow, I gotta let my buddies know.
We're already here.
The network you want, the price you love, only from Verizon.
Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Hmm?